Hello, welcome to this rooftop mountable billboard, and today we are going to connect the canvas still frame to its main support. Welcome once again, I'm Morris Dimba, and let's get started. Let me first of all highlight the canvas still frame I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what will be holding the advertising billboard. Let me just select that. That's it. And this is what I'm talking about also. These are the canvas still frame that will be held by these main support, these ones here. I'll select that and bring it close so that you can have a look. So the connection we want to create, we want to create a connection between these two frames, so that this canvas still frame can be held in place firmly, and to hold that message strongly to the people passing around any other billboard, so that they get the message from the advertising agency. Now let me just turn this round so that we start creating the connection, or connecting our still frame to its main support. We'll get started right here, and I'll go straight to still. I'll click on still right there, then come to beam. I'll click on beam. Then I want to start creating my cleat, some sort of cleat here, and I'll go all the way to this part and snap on that spot. Then right click and click interrupt to exit that command. Now I'll double click on this once again. I want to rotate it so that it sits well, so that also it can be welded properly against this member. Now to rotate it, I'll just come to this part. Let me just scroll down and scroll up. I'll come straight here under position, then I'll click rotation, then I'll pick on back and click modify. That is not the best rotation that you want. I will click below and click modify. That's the position we want, but it's not the perfect way to do it. Now I want to bring it slightly down, and to bring it down, I'll come to add depth and click behind here and click modify. That's it. It has moved to a position that you wanted it to move. Now again, I'll scroll because I want a bit of extension going this side 50 millimeter and the other way is 50 millimeter. And to do that, I'll come to end offset. I want to offset this end by 50, and the other end also by 50, and I'll click modify. There's an extension there about 50 millimeter. Then I'll click on empty screen to deselect that part. Then I'll press Control while holding my middle button on the mouse, and turn this model around. Now we want to create another cleat here that will be moving all the way from this point to this point, and that cleat will be welded to this still frame, and this one will be welded to this support, so that when you bring this, the canvas frame will just place it over here and bolt it. I'll come back to still beam, and I want to use this point all the way from that spot and go all the way to that end. That's it. And first of all, I've not showed you the size of this RSA, or angled profile. Now let me just turn this so that I double click on this and have a look at it. The size of this member is RSA 70 by 70, 6 millimeter thick. I'll close that, and if you want to go back to profile catalog, just click on this radio button, and this will take you to profile catalog, and you'll be able to pick on the appropriate, or you can change this to another still profile. Now I'll close that, and if you take a look, we have unnecessary extension of 50 here, and to rectify this, just double click on this and come all the way here and get rid of this. We just get rid of this and click modify, and once again it's not in the best position that we want it to be, so we'll move it slightly up. I'll rotate it, and to do that we come here under position. Under this under position we'll work with these options on plane, rotation, and at depth. Now we'll start with the rotation. I'll pick on rotation and click back and click rotate, and that is not the best position. I'll click top and see how it locates itself. Not the best. I'll just come here and click below and click that. We are back where we were. Now we'll just play with this until you get it to the right position. This is the best, and slightly below the point that we are targeting it to be on. Now to bring it up here, we'll come to at depth here and pick front and click right there. There we are. It has moved up, and click on empty screen to deselect that part. Now I want to turn it around. I'll press Control while holding my middle button on the mouse and move my mouse like this. You can see I can rotate this comfortably. And what I want to do next, I want to place my bolts. I want to connect this cleat to this cleat. This cleat will be welded to this canvas steel frame, and this cleat will be welded to this main support of the canvas steel frame. Now the next point, I'll come to edit so that I can be able to access the bolt command. It is not the edit. We can access that through steel. If we click on steel, we can access bolt command right there. Then we select on the parts that we want to bolt together. I'll select that part and select this part. Now we want to place our bolt right at the middle here, and if you can take a look, if I mouse over this part, you cannot see any snaps. So to snap at the midpoint on one side of this cleat, I'll have to press the space bar on my keyboard. So if I press the space bar and mouse over this, you can see now I can be able to snap at the edge. Then I'll just snap at the edge right there at the midpoint along that edge, and snap at the midpoint along this edge here. Then those are my bolts. Now to rectify or modify your bolts, just double click on the bolt. Then this will bring the bolt properties or the bolt dialog box, and from here you'll be able to play around with what you want. If you want washer, if you don't want washer, if you want M20, here I'm using M16, and if you want M20, you can pick on M20 and click modify, and you can see the bolts changes. And I'll just take it back to M16, and the standard also, you can pick whichever standard you want, and that's it. And also, if you want to play around with the spacing, remember we have 4 bolts, but here I've written 3. We always have 1 bolt at a default distance. So if you want 3 bolts, you just type 2 here, and in this case I want to retain the 3 bolts. I'll change that to 2, and I'll have 3 bolts right there. And let me just take it back where it was, and I want 4 bolts, so in that case I'll just type 3, because we have 1 already in place, and click modify so that we have that. Then this distance of the edge, you can play around with it. You can come down here at offset ends, and you can offset these from that edge maybe by 30, and if you click modify, you'll be able to see the bolts are moving all the way from that end, and you can add more. You can add another offset of 50, and you can see the bolts are moving. Now you can get rid of that offset and leave it at 0, and you see this is not what we wanted to do. and just retain that offset and click that, and that's it. As simple as that. So try this often, try this repeatedly so that you get the concept. That will be the best, and that will be my pleasure if you can do this by yourself. And if you have any question, please just comment down there. I'll be able to assist you. Now let me just press Ctrl and turn this, and now I want to make this clit to be part of this. Now what I'll do, I'll just click on this clit, then right click and come to assembly and click on add to assembly. I'll add it to this assembly and click on that. Then do the same thing here, click on that clit, right click and come to add to assembly, then add it to this assembly. Now to check whether this clit has been welded to this steel frame, I'll press Alt. I'll press Alt and pick on this. You can be able to see this clit has been selected, and this one hasn't been selected because this one will not be welded together at the workshop and be brought to site together with this. This will be welded together to this, and this one will be welded together with this. So the assembly takes place at the site or on site. Then let me just turn this around, we check how it looks. Now I want to copy it right down to the other points. To do that, I'll press Ctrl and select that part. Let me first of all deselect what I don't want to pick. I'll press that and press Ctrl, then I'll press Ctrl again and turn this round. And I want to copy this from this point. Right click and pick copy, and I want to pick it from this point. I mean, to locate this point, it's very easy. We just come to edit, then come to points here and pick online points and snap right here. After enabling this button, then snap here and snap here. You'll be able to locate the midpoint of this member, then you'll be able to pick it from that spot. Now in our case, that is already done, and I'll right click and exit, right click again and pick copy, then I'll snap right there. I want to hold it from that spot, and I'll move all the way down here, and I'll copy it right here. I want to create another connection right here. I'll create a connection right there. I have a connection right there, and if I press Ctrl and turn this round, you can be able to see the connection already created perfectly. Then what do we do next? We'll continue with this. I'll press Ctrl and pick on this. Then if I right click and come to copy, and I want to copy it at a point that will be accurate, I'll just snap right here, right there, and move it all the way up here, and just turn this round and make sure I snap on the right spot. I'll snap right there. Perfect. But is not the best location for our clit. To rectify that, just press Ctrl and select all this, then right click and come to move. Then after clicking move, you give it some time to process that information. Then then click right here. You click right here on that spot and move all the way to this end and snap right here. Move all the way and snap right there. We have that in place, perfectly done. Then come and press Ctrl, and we want to copy another one right at the bottom end. Click on that, pick on that, press Ctrl and pick on this, right click and come to copy, zoom out and bring and pick it from that spot, then zoom out, go all the way to the bottom end here. We come all the way to the bottom end here, and we want to place another one at the bottom end here on this frame. We'll copy it right there. Right click, and don't forget to save your work. That is very important. And press Ctrl and press your and hold your middle button on the mouse, and move your mouse like that while holding the Control button on the keyboard. Now we want to copy this to the middle here, to the middle of this frame. Let me just show you the frame I'm talking about. If I press Alt, you can be able to see this has been welded to that, and that this has been connected to that, and this has been connected to this. I'll deselect by clicking on empty screen. Then I'll pick on this, press Control and pick on that. I'll right click and come to Special Copy. Then I'll click Linear. After clicking Linear, I want to move this all the way to the middle at a distance that we have to check first before effecting that copy command. Now we want to copy it at the midpoint along this member, and we don't know the measurement, or we don't know the distance. To check that, just click on this member, and you can be able to see the length, or I mean the dimension of this member. It is 3 meters. So what we'll do, we'll come here and zoom close and pick on this, press Control and pick on this. Once you've done that, just right click and come to Special Copy and pick on Linear. Then come to the axis. Reason why we are picking on the axis, because it is pointing in the direction where we want to copy that part to. Now I've fed here 1.5 or 1500 metric. Then after doing that, I will not prefix this with a negative sign, because it is moving on a positive sign, so there's no need of prefixing our dimension with a negative sign. Now I'll just go ahead and click Copy, and you can see that moving all the way to this spot, exactly at the midpoint of this member. That has been done. Then we'll go ahead and do the same thing here. We'll click on this and check the dimension. This is 3 meters. So we'll click on empty screen to deselect that part and press Control and select on this. Right click and come to Special Copy, and we'll click Linear Movement or a Linear Copy. Then we'll just click and click OK, and that will be copied right here. So we have this in place. We have this already connected. Now we want to do the same to the rest of our still frame. So we'll start with this frame at the bottom end here. I'll press Control and check. We'll start with this and go to that and go to that and go to that. Bolted perfectly. Now let's get that done. To do that, we'll just press Control and press and select on that, and come all the way here and pick on this and pick on that, and move at the bottom end here, and we'll pick on this, pick on that, pick on that. Then we'll right click and come to Copy. Once you've done that, we'll just carry that with this point from that point, and we'll move to this point right here, and we'll snap right here. Once you've snapped on that spot and you want to check whether the connection has been created, you can just press Control and turn that round. You can be able to see your connection is right on the right position. And if you come up here, you can see that already welded perfectly well on that spot. And if you come up here, you can see that already welded perfectly well on that spot. Though what we can do, we can move this slightly down, and that we can do just right now, so that our welding should be firm and be able to withstand the wind load that will be applied on our canvas steel frame. Now if I turn this round, I can be able to pick on this, press Control and pick on this. Once that has been done, press Control once again, so that we can drag this and place it right at this point. Right click that and come to Move. Once you've done that, we want to move it from this point here to this point right at that spot. So that will hold our canvas steel frame firmly. See, that has been done perfectly. Perfect. And if you come down here, we can do the same thing. We'll right click and pick on this and pick on that, and I will right click once again and click move and come all the way here and snap on that and move all the way down here and place it right there. If we come here, we can do the same thing, but this member is big enough to accept or to accommodate the amount of welding that will be applied here. So the reason why we're moving that, because these members were slightly smaller, so that smaller to an extent, the points, the welding points were almost non-existent. Now if we move it down like this, we provide a surface area for welding, so we can weld this cleat to this member and weld it all around prior to drilling the holes for bolting. Now I'll turn this round like that, and we'll continue doing the same thing. We'll now copy this. We'll press Control, and I'll pick on that, and press Control and pick on that, and come all the way here and pick on this member. I'll pick on that and pick on this, then right click and come to copy. We've done that, and I will zoom out, and we want to pick it from this point here, from that point, and we'll move to this point here, move it to that point, and move all the way to this point. Snap right there. Once we are done, we'll come over and check whether our connection are properly done, and we'll rectify if there's any case or if there is need to modify it further. Now I'll snap right there and zoom out and target the other end and snap right here. Let me just snap right here. Perfect. And come all the way. Let me first of all check whether we placed a cleat there. We've not placed a cleat there, and let's place another one here. We'll move and place another one here, right there. Now if we press Control and turn this round, we can see our cleats are in place, and if you come up here, you can see our cleat is in place perfectly well done. And if you come this side, there is none, and that should not be a worry. We can come here and do the same thing. We can come here and select on that, press Control and pick on that, and copy using the same approach. Then click on that and click copy. Once you're done with that, we'll come and hold it right from the bottom end here. We'll hold it from that spot, and we'll move all the way to this end, here, and we'll snap it right here. Perfect. And check how it connects to these members. It's not coming out well. So at this point, we will change the size of our cleat. Let's change the size of our cleat, and that will be done later on. First of all, let's complete this connection first. Now we'll come at this point, and we'll click on this, click on that and select on that while pressing the Control button, and come here and do the same thing. Press Control and turn this round and pick on this and that, right click and come to copy. Now we'll copy this the way we did, and we'll get to a point that we want to rectify it to its better position. I mean, in taking into account the position of the clit attaching itself to either the frame, the canvas frame, or its main support. Now I've picked it from this point, and I want to take it all the way here, right there, and right click and check how it has been located. We can see one here, we can see a clit here, well in place, and then the other one is not properly in the place because that member, there's too much protrusion of this clit. So we'll move it slightly down. We'll press Ctrl and pick on that, then press Ctrl and turn that while holding our middle button on the mouse, then right click and come to move. Once you've come to move, pick a midpoint here and transfer that position at the bottom end here, at the bottom of the end there. Now, having done that, we want to pick this. We want to pick that while pressing the Control button and right click and come to copy, and I'll zoom out. Once I've zoomed out, I want to copy the clit with this from this position. No, it's straight, and I'll move to this position right here, to this position here. I'll copy it right there and zoom out and copy it right here. I'll copy it right here and zoom out and take it all the way to the other end. Take it all the way to this end, and a snap right there. Do the same thing to the other end and snap right here. Snap right there and come all the way and snap right here. Move up and snap right here, and come all the way and snap right here. This could be the last one, and this one is the point that we are expected to make some modification so that it meets our requirements. Now, if we turn this round and come back where we were, you can see our connection right here. It's perfect. There it is, and that connection has been done. So if I turn that round, you can be able to see that perfectly well. So at this point, we'll change this. We'll delete this. We'll delete this. Let me just turn round and turn this round. We'll delete that. We don't need any there. And now what we'll do now, we'll just double click on this member so that we change the size. We change the still profile here. Zoom out and click on that radio button, and this. After clicking this radio button under beam properties dialog box, will come here and minimize that. We'll come to L profile here. We want to change this to a smaller profile or a smaller member, or we'll come to a 60 by 60 here, 60 by 60 by 30, 60 by 60 by 40, right there by 6 millimeter, and pick on apply and accept that. We'll do the same thing here, apply, accept the modification. That's it. And let's try first of all to see how this is positioning itself. There's still a protrusion. It is extending all the way to this end, and we don't need that. We'll go back to profile catalog dialog box. and we'll change that from 60 to 50. We'll change it, we'll come to 50 by 50 by 4 millimeter, or 50 by 50 by 6 millimeter. We will maintain the thickness of the cleats. I'll apply and give an OK right there. Then come here and accept the modification by clicking modify, and that's it. That is the best position. And I will do the same thing to this. Double click on this, then come here and click this radio button under beam properties dialog box, and this will take you straight to profile catalog. From there you'll be able to pick on the appropriate or the better size of the steel of your preference. We'll come to 50 by 50 L profile here, 50 by 50 by 6 millimeter thick, and we'll apply that and accept there by clicking OK. Then come here and click modify. By click modify means you accept the modification. Click modify, and it's not the best way we want this to be. I'll turn that. You can see still there's a slight protrusion, and what you can do from here, if you click on this and check on that, there's an unwanted member right there. We'll delete that. We'll double click on this. Once you've double clicked on this, or come all the way straight here and change the position here by clicking right and click modify, and that is not the best position that we thought that could move. We come here and give it a middle position and see how it will move. Still not the best. We'll click left. It has moved left, but by how much do we want that to move left? We can add some, we can feed some dimension right there, and that can make it move slightly. And you can give it another 20, and it has moved. Now what we want to play around with is the bolts. We want to change the bolts here. We double click on the bolt, and we want to shift this bolt slightly to the midpoint here. How do we do that? We'll scroll this down. We'll scroll down and come to this position, rotation, not rotation. We'll come all the way here on the plane. We can shift this plane to maybe by 10 millimeter and try if this can make it move to a position of our preference. It's not moving to the best position, and take it back to 0 plane, and that 10 that we've just typed here will prefix that 10 millimeter prefix. Will now give it 20, and that will take it straight to a position that is not really much better. Change that to 10. That is the best position, and we can leave it right there. Don't always forget to save your work so that you don't do same thing repeated times. Now I'll accept that by closing that, clicking on empty screen, then come here again and save that work. Press Ctrl and turn this round. But still, you can see some unwanted member. We are seeing a protrusion. You can see unwanted member, a foreign member here that we don't really want to be in that position. We can delete that. That was our previous clit that was way big for this position. Reason being, we change the orientation of this member. So instead of this side facing this end, we've shifted it that way. Now we can take it back. We can take this up here by deleting this. We can delete that. We can delete all that. We can press Ctrl and delete that. We can press Ctrl and delete that. We delete everything that we don't want. Then turn that round. So this is the clit that we've just made right now. and it's also taking the part. It has extended itself to a position that we don't really want it to go to. So we'll trim this end slightly to not to collide with this, or not to touch this part of this frame. To do that, just click rotate, and we'll click these two members, double click on that, then we'll come all the way to here, first of all we'll come all the way here and change this to 0, change all these to 50, and click copy. That's not the best. That is not the best option. Double click on the first one. Once you've done that, come here and click on this, prefix that dimension by either 30. You want to shorten that, and click modify. Check whether it has shortened itself, turn that round, and it has done that, but not the best way. Increase that offset by 40, and click that, whether it has come to a position of our choice. I'll press Ctrl while holding my middle button on the mouse, and this is still not the best position, and still not bad. And first of all, prior to moving it further, first of all we have to recheck our boltings. The bolt. Let me just turn that round, and I'll continue shortening this by 50 like that, and click modify, and that's okay. That is okay. I'll turn that round, and there it is. There we have our clit in place. I'll come here there and close that, and click on empty screen, and we have our clit in place. Now, having showed you that, that is how you can connect that. You connect the canvas steel frame to its main support. Now, I'll leave that to you to go and try it out. And the next step we want to do here, we want to brace our main support. We want to attach them to each other so that so that they can counter that extreme wind loads, because it will be exposed out to so much wind pressure. Or now I'll come here and click on steel and pick on that, and I want to create a connection right from this spot. And prior to doing that, we have to change the orientation of our XYZ plane. To change the position of our XYZ plane, we'll come to work plane tool here and pick on the first option, and just align our work plane tool with that slope. Right click and interrupt to exit from that work plane tool. Then we'll come back to steel again and pick on the steel member here, and we'll snap right here, right on that spot, and right on this spot right here, right there. We'll double click on that, and to do away with these offsets, and click modify. Once that is done, we want to use square hollow sections to support these main supports of the canvas steel frame. We'll come all the way to general, where we'll get the profile, and pick on that radio button so that we can go back to the profile catalog and pick on the appropriate steel member or the square hollow section that we wanted to pick on, and we'll give it some time to load so that we can pick on it. Here we are, and I can minimize now this L profile, then come all the way to a square hollow section here, right here. this is rectangular hollow section, but inside the rectangular hollow section we have the SHS square hollow section, and you can go right there and pick on one. We can pick on 60 by 60, 60 by 60, 3 by 6 by 60, and 3 millimeter thick, and pick on that and come here and click modify. Once that has been done, we want to slightly move it down, and to do how to do that, we will come to up depth here and click middle. We want to shift it right to the middle. It's not really touching the middle point that you want it to go to, and we can add some dimensions there by clicking 20. Move it slightly by 20. Not the best. Prefix that by negative sign, and move it once again by, just give it 30. That will be okay, and we'll move it right there. Then after doing that, we'll right click once again, and we want to shift it. We want to shift it slightly off that base plate, and we'll click linear. And prior to doing that, we check the position or the direction of the axis we want to copy these to. We want to copy this along the x-axis. So on the x-axis, we'll come to x-axis and feed an offset there of maybe 600 right there. So we'll click move. It will move by 600. Now from that 600, we want now to populate or populate this along the x-axis. Want to copy a number of these along this, and here we'll change the copy distance. We'll add 1 meter or 1.2. 1.2. That is not, we are moving this. We'll change our command by right clicking and coming to copy special and click linear, and we'll change this z-axis and come to x-axis, and we want 1.2, and we know I want several of these, maybe 6 or 4. 4. Let's try 4 and click OK. That's it. Click OK, right click, and if you come to copy and turn this round, you can see how many do we have. We have this in place. We can pick on that, right click and come to special copy and click linear. We can add 3 there, zoom out and click 3. That's perfect. Click OK, right click, and that's all. Click close that and press Ctrl and turn this round. So what we'll do, we'll select on each individual, on each of these, select on that, and select on this, and select on that. Once you select on that, we'll select on this, select on that. Remember, this will be done on site. The welding, these supports will be done on site. Click on that, right click and come to copy. Now we want to copy this from this point. We will jump 1 and place another one here, then jump this and place another one here. Perfect. There we are. So if you turn this round, you can be able to see what we've actually done. So this is enough for today, and if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and let's meet then. So the next presentation will be generating drawings for this particular billboard, and we'll be able to share this with you. So let me just bring this close so that you see what we've done so far. This is what I wanted just to share with you, or to show you how you can do that if you're not familiar so much with the Tekla structure and how its commands work, or how to use its commands and the macros. If I turn that, you can see the clips that we've just placed right now. So thanks a lot for watching this video. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. Let's meet then. I'm Maurice Dimba, and bye bye.